I'd like to call the Senate to order. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Barnett, Barrett, Blackman, Blackwell, Blunt, Boyd, Branning, Bryan, Butler to 36, Butler to 38, Carter, Kaufman, Chazanoff, Chisbar, Delano, England, Fillingham, Frazier, Harkins, Hickman, Hill, Hobson, Horn, Jackson, Johnson, Jordan, Kirby, McCollum, McDaniel, McClendon, McMahon, Shell, Moran, Norwood, Parker, Parks, Polk, Seymour, Simmons of the 12th, Simmons of the 13th, Sojourner, Sparks, Suber, Tate, Thomas, Thompson, Turner, Ford, Whaley, Wiggins, Williams, Younger. Mr. President, a quorum is present.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Will the senators and guests in the gallery please rise for the invocation to be given by Pastor Dwight Martin from the 24th Street Church of Christ in Macomb, Mississippi, a guest of Senator Kelvin Butler. Senator Butler will then do the Pledge of Allegiance. So, Pastor Martin.
Let us pray. Father God, we come to you today acknowledging that you're all seeing, that you're all knowing. There's nothing about us in which you do not know. We acknowledge you, God, as being God and sovereign. We acknowledge the privilege and the responsibilities that has been given to this great chamber to represent our state and also to represent your people. We ask, God, that you would give them a spirit of wisdom, cooperation, accountability, and fairness, because their decisions will have a lasting impact throughout our state. Their vote, no matter how significant or insignificant, will set the course for our state. You said in your word that the heart of the king and the heart of the leaders are in your hand. We ask, God, that you would use them in a way that bring glory and honor to you. We ask in Jesus' name that you would guide them in your righteousness, that you would uphold them. We ask, God, that you would bless this chamber. We pray, God, that you would bless our state. This is our prayer we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor, thank you. All right, you ready?
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Pastor Martin and Senator Butler. Now the reading of the journal. Senator Polk, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the Senate dispense with reading of the journal.
Senator moves to dispense the reading of the journal. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Message positions, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. President, there are none.
Committee reports. Senator Polk, you're recognized.
Mr. President, move the Senate dispense with the reading of the committee report.
Senator moves to dispense with the reading of the committee reports. All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next, the reading of the titles, bills, and resolutions. Recognize Senator Polk.
Mr. President, move the Senate dispense with the reading of the titles of the bills and resolutions.
Senator moves to dispense with the title, bills, reading of the titles, bills, and resolutions. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The ayes have it. Now, introduction of guests. Introduction of guests. Senator Butler, you're recognized for an introduction.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the pastor of today's son brought his son with him today. And by the way, he is my brother-in-law and my nephew, Dwight Martin Jr. Will you stand, please? He's in the North Gallery. Please make him welcome.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Senator Suber, you're recognized for introduction.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like for the Senate to look in the West Gallery. Have my Sheriff Greg Pollen from Calhoun County.
Welcome, Sheriff. Thank you. Other introductions, Seeing none, we'll move to the calendar. Number 1, Senate Bill 2120. Senator Hobson, you're recognized.
President. I think Senator Kirby would like to be recognized prior to
I'm
me
sorry,
proceeding.
Senator Hobson. Senator Kirby, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to call a Rules Committee meeting in front of the chamber. And while I'm doing it, might as well announce that I'd like to have another one 5 minutes after recess.
Rules Committee now and 5 minutes after recess. Okay, back to you, Senator Hobson. You're recognized. Item number 1.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask we go skip item 1 on today's calendar and have it retain its place, and go to item 2 and have the title read.
Item 1 retains its place on the calendar. Item 2, Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2862, Appropriation Child Protective Services, Department of ARPA funds.
Make the usual motion.
Senator makes the usual motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before I call on Senator Polk to explain the bill, let me just give you a brief overview of where we are in the appropriations calendar, particularly these next 4 items, Senate Bills 2862, 63, 64, and 65. These are the ARPA funds, ARP, American Rescue Plan funds. And to give you an idea of what happened, back in May, shortly after we adjourned sine die last year, the federal government sent about $900 million of funds to the state, and there will be another $900 million coming roughly May of 2022. So the state has about $1.8 billion in funds to allocate through the American Rescue Plan. Many of you, I think I've discussed this with, and the Lieutenant Governor has certainly said this on a number of occasions, with this influx of funds, that we want to make sure we're proceeding with generational transformational type projects that the state can use to better itself, and also to have things that are long lasting and make a tremendous difference. He and I spoke about this in the summer of last year, and certainly decided the best thing to do was to give an exhaustive review to all the needs of the state that may comply with the areas that are eligible under ARP. And we put together a committee. Senator Polk chaired that committee. The members were Senators Frazier, Michelle, Butler, Parks, DeBar, and Williams. I want to thank those senators for their hard work, because I got to sit in on most of those committee meetings. But this ad hoc committee that Senator Polk chaired had 5 or 6 meetings, I know, had every agency that could possibly comply with the needs of ARP and with the demands of, and conditions of ARP. Also heard from a lot of private agencies and private entities around the state too. And what the ad hoc committee has come up with is essentially a list of projects that Senator Polk will go over with you momentarily. Some of these are general bills, and some of these are appropriation bills only. The ones you're going to hear today are appropriations bills only. These are funding it through the regular process through the agencies, but they're going to be, we're looking to get these things out as quickly as possible because this is our first opportunity to come back together and do something on ARP. The general bills, just so you'll know, and Senator Polk will address this also, there are certain things, for instance, he's going to talk about water and sewer projects, and we're going to need some general bills that'll have to get passed on that. But today, I'm going to let him talk about 4 appropriations bills that have passed out of committee, and we'd like to get these out and get them down to the House. So no further, unless there are further questions for me or any questions for me, Mr. President, I'd ask that you recognize Senator Polk to explain Senate Bill 2862, and he may also want to give an overview of some of the things that have been discussed.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Polk, you're recognized. Item number 2.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too would like to thank the committee, the members that I served with in doing this. It was a big project. Handing out to you now will be an overview of the project, of where we as a committee felt like the best allocation of funds could go. Understand this, we had $1.8 billion in monies to spend when we get the final payment. We had $8.3 billion in requests. When we first started this, I thought, oh, this will be easy, handing out $1.8 billion. But when you have $8.3 billion in requests, it gets hard. First thing we did was take care of what the federal government would allow us as lost revenue. Even though we had a great year in income tax, in sales tax growth, we still had lost revenue according to the federal formula. So the first thing we did was we took the federal formula to DFA and to DOR, and they figured out how much money we had in lost revenue. That number was over $280 million. We as a committee decided that we would be in good stead if we would move about $250 million of that to lost revenue. The other things we wanted to do was take care of water and sewer and infrastructure in our state. This one spend will take care of us for 25 or 30 years. Will everyone get money? No. There's not that much money, and this state needs a lot of infrastructure work as do most everyone else in the United States. But it will help. It will help a lot. We also want to take care of some areas of state government that have been lacking for the last few years, many years actually. Today you will see two bills, one for child protection services, one for mental health services, to try to get to a point where we can offer the best care we can to mental health patients and the best protection we can to children. I hope you have, or if you don't have, you will have in a moment, the general breakup of the monies or dispersions of the monies we're recommending. And this is recommendation, so you'll be, there will be, each recommendation will have a bill, and you will be able to question us at that point about maybe how we made that decision. But I can tell you this, the members of the committee, after 5 days of public hearings and many, many hours of hearings to where, or meetings to where we opened ourselves up and discussed at length many ways to spend our monies, this is the final product that we came up with. We also, as you can see when you get your copy, that we were able to hold back about $133 million that we don't recommend spending right now. We recommend holding these funds until a later date, because who knows what's going to happen in the next year or two. Many things can change. So we're asking that $133 million thereabouts be set aside for use in the future. Understand this also. We have to allocate as a legislative body by December 31st, 2024, where we're going to spend all the funds. And then under federal rule, by December 31st, 2026, all those funds have to be spent. That is a tight deadline by the federal government. And so a lot of our work had to look at what can be done in 4 or 5 years. So with that said, I would like to talk specifically and go to bill number 2862 and explain the bill.
We need to read the title. Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
That's 62?
That's number 2 on the calendar, 2862. Did you read the title?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're good then, Senator.
I think we're ready to.
You're ready for explanation, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, first you can see this covers child protection services. We recommend that $59,100,000 be spent to provide and act services for child welfare and families and foster youth that were negatively impacted by the coronavirus pandemic and other operational expenses allowed under the ARPA Act, and make sure that we spend the money correctly. It is not the intention of our legislation in Section 2 to pay premium pay to anyone, so we do not pay any premium payments. Section 3 makes sure that the agency knows that they have to spend the funds only on Treasury-ruled ARPA fund-approved spending. Section 5 says the money goes to the treasurer in a separate account and is paid to Child Protection Services. The Child Protection Services Director, Andrea Sanders, assures our committee and me that with these funds, she can get us as close as we've ever been to meeting what the state of Mississippi needs to do to become a leader in protecting our children. It also will come a long way in meeting the rules that the federal government through court has ordered us to do. We've been in a lawsuit for 20 years trying to improve our child protection services. This money, this spending of $59,100,000 will get us very, very close. If there are no questions, I'd like to use the afternoon roll call for passage.
Thank you, Senator Simmons. For what purpose do you seek recognition?
Question, Mr. President.
You for a question, Senator Polk.
I do.
Senator, you're recognized, Senator Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Polk, for yielding. I don't have the luxury of being on the Appropriation Committee, and I just want to first thank you for all your hard work, Senator Polk, on this, and also Chairman Hobson. And I guess my question is a general question to all of these appropriations. We have this handout that basically talks about the appropriation for each one of the various agencies. Will we get a breakdown, for instance, the bill that we are on now, Child Protective Services, the 59.1 million? Will we get a breakdown on how the agency plans to spend that 59.1 million?
Well, yeah, we can get it for you. I can go over some of it. Let me find it on our sheet here. Okay, Child Protection Services.
In fact, so that's fine. I just know as you present all these bills, I just know my general question would be for each agency, will we get a breakdown to see exactly how they plan to spend the money?
Yes, we can get that. Understand this, though, we're leaving them a lot of leeway on how to do it because they know how that agency needs to spend those funds. But yes, we can get that to you, what their plan is.
Okay, and specifically to this bill, when we go to lines 15 through 19, where it says that the funds appropriated under this section are for the purpose of providing enhanced services for child welfare, involve families and foster youth that were negatively impacted. Do we have a number of those families and or youth that were negatively impacted so we'll know in the state?
I have not seen that number.
Okay. But that's the kind of detail I'm asking a question about.
Okay.
But thank you so much for yielding. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Jackson, for what purpose you seek recognition? Pass. Senator Turner, for what purpose you seek recognition?
Question.
You for a question, Senator Polk?
I do.
Senator Turner, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am on the Appropriations Committee, and I do understand that this bill was presented during committee last week. I would like to know an itemization of how the agency intends to spend the funds before I vote on this bill. That's one issue that I would like to state, but then secondly, I think I would like to know also how many more families will be served if Child Protective Services receives this appropriation.
Exact numbers I cannot give you on how many families will be served. I will be glad to get that information for you, but it will be after the vote today.
So there's no way that we can, typically what I'm accustomed to with the appropriations process, the committee is in a position to receive an itemization of how the agency intends to spend the funds. And is it your statement today that there is no such information available?
To how many more families would be served?
Well, I guess I'm referring to the first issue.
Okay.
The itemization of how the funds will be spent.
I have 3 items that are listed by CPS. It's the safe reduction in caseloads. They want to add 100 additional case carrying staff, 20 area social work supervisors, 82 additional case aides that will cost in the first year $10 million, second year $10 million, third year $8 million, and fourth year $4 million. That comes to $29,500,000. We want to fund temporarily increased legal support to expedite adoptions. There's a huge backlog of adoptions that have been out there, especially since COVID, because the courts have been inactive in many cases. So we want to give $1.4 million for 4 years to increase the number of attorneys and legal support so we can get these adoptions moving, so children can move from foster care to adoption. Then we have a tiered rate structure to promote more appropriate placements for children in foster care. That's $6.3 million for 4 years, which is a total of $25,200,000. And that's how we arrived at $51,100,000. That's the most detail I have from CPS at this time.
What effect do we believe that appropriating these funds to CPS, we're bringing on additional employees
It will.
in a total amount of how many? I didn't have a chance to add the numbers as they were being presented.
Okay. It's 100 additional case-carrying staff, 20 area social worker supervisors, and 82 additional case aides. So that's 120, 82, 202.
202 additional employees?
Yes.
For Child Protective Services?
And I understand, I'm not reading your mind, Senator, but how do we sustain that?
Absolutely.
Ms. Sanders assures us that as these caseloads go down and as the way they work into a new way of meeting services that we need to have already done, actually, she will be able, by attrition, in many instances, that number will go back down and we shouldn't need any additional PNs, and it should get back to a pretty reasonable zero differential.
So if I'm understanding correctly, we will bring on 200 additional employees for a certain period of time?
And as usual, attrition and the usual things like that will get it back to a level amount to where we're not going to be spending. We may still have more employees, but what they're doing will be a less expensive way to do everything. It's hard for me to understand. I'm not sure I really did, but Ms. Sanders was convinced that she could do it, and I became convinced that she could.
So is there any way to know if these additional 200 employees would still be a part of the state's budget as of 2026 or 2027?
I will be able to get that information for her, and I'll be glad to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Horn, for what purpose do you seek recognition?
Question.
You for a question, Senator Polk.
I do.
Senator Horn, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Senator Polk, for yielding. You addressed some of my concerns in the discourse with Senator Turner Ford. It sounded like we were taking items in the budget that one might consider to be recurring costs, and we're going to pay for it with this one-time money. And my question is, how many years do these agencies will they have to spend the ARPA money?
They will have 4 years to spend the $59,100,000.
So we can carry those 200 plus employees for about 4 years, and then you say through attrition and retirement, et cetera, we'll get those numbers back down?
We should get those numbers back down.
Oh, okay. All right. One of the things that I keep hearing regarding foster care is that there is this gap that exists affecting foster children who reach the age of 18, and between there and 21, they often fall off. There are no services for them. They sometimes find themselves homeless. Is any of this money going to be dedicated to creating a bridge for those foster care kids who find themselves without resources, in one fell swoop?
In Ms. Sanders' plan, she mentioned a lot of the times about how that does happen. And we talked at length and even in some depth, because one of the things she wants to do I thought was so, I hate to use the word silly, or why are we doing it? But it was to teach driver's lessons. How do you teach children to drive that's going to be out in a little while on their own? They've got to know how to drive. So life skills like that are included in these monies that she's asking for, so we can prepare children for adulthood and for that transition.
But more specifically, are we putting any resources in this $59.1 million towards creating a safety net for those foster children who reach the age of 18 and find themselves without a safety net all of a sudden.
I cannot speak for Ms. Sanders on that, but it would not surprise me if it was, because if she's thinking about how are we going to teach children to drive, I'm sure that's one of the smaller things she's thinking about.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Horn. Senator Jordan, you're recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Chairman, there's nothing in this bill that I've seen up to this point that deals with mental health. We have a major problem in mental health in the state of Mississippi. Is any resources from this money will be used for mental health?
I'm going to present a bill in just a minute that covers mental health.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Norwood, for what purpose you seek recognition?
Question, Mr. President.
Do you yield, Senator?
I do.
Senator Norwood, you're recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Pope. Senator Pope, timelines. Do we have timelines in there in terms of the I think you say proposed to hire 100. Do we have timelines in there that they expect to have those care workers on board?
No, I do not.
Are there any any reports that would be done regarding the 59 million?
We do not require any reporting. All we require are the funds be spent as the Treasury rules have it dictated through the passage of the ARPA fund bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Pope.
Thank you.
Senator Harkins, for what purpose do you seek recognition?
Introduction.
Will you please proceed?
Ladies and gentlemen, the doctor of the day today is Dr. Chet Shermer. He is an emergency room physician and professor at UMC. He may be needed from time to time. Maybe we need to get him back here in the immediate future, but please help me welcome him to the Senate.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Welcome, Senator Michelle.
Introduction, please.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Also in the gallery is my good friend Hal Miller with the Mississippi Trucking Association, and he has with him today his Young Leaders in Trucking group. Would you all stand so we could please recognize you?
Senator Branning, you're recognized for what purpose? Senator Branning passes. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, Senator Polk, we're ready for your motion.
Yep, afternoon roll call, Mr. President.
Senator moves to adoption by afternoon roll call. Does anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no. Turner Ford. Anyone else? Anyone else? Seeing none, the bill passes. Recognize Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Actually, we'll go to item 3 on today's calendar and have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2863, appropriation Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, ARPA funds.
I'll make the usual motion.
Senator makes the usual motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're recognized.
Thank you. I move adoption of the bill and ask you to recognize Senator Polk to explain it.
Senator Polk, you're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill number 2863 is what I call the MEMA bill. We are asking for an appropriation of $3,170,000. The funds are appropriated under this section for the purpose of defraying eligible expenses in connection with COVID-19. As you remember, MEMA spent quite a large sum of money. Most of it will be refunded or rebated to the state of Mississippi, around $150 million. Unfortunately, there's about $3 million out there that won't be. And this money will cover them, make them whole, and be able to move them forward to take care of further necessary items. In Section 2, as again, no premium pay for any state employees. And then Section 3 and 4 are the assurances that the ARPA guidelines, Treasury rules will be followed. And then the bill will be enforced at its passage. If there are no questions, I'd like to move that we use the afternoon roll call for passage.
Questions on the bill? Questions on the bill? Seeing none, ask for the, Senator has asked, I guess you can ask, and Senator Hobson has asked for adoption by use of the afternoon roll call. Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Present? Turner, forward. No, anyone? Bill passes. Number 4 on the agenda, Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that we go to that item and have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2864, appropriation National Guard, ARPA funds.
Make the usual motion.
Senator makes the usual motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The ayes have it. Please proceed.
Move adoption of Senate Bill 2864 and ask that you recognize Senator Polk to explain.
Senator Polk, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bill number 2864, Senate bill, is for the National Guard appropriation from ARPA funds. We're requesting that $10,391,000 be used to spend by the Mississippi National Guard primarily on infrastructure and primarily at the Camp Shelby facility. That is a large facility that many National Guard units from across the nation use. And of course, they have infrastructure issues just like everyone else in Mississippi. So what we're trying to do is cover some of the initial work that they need done, which is $10,391,000. These will be these are approved usage by the Treasury Department rule on ARPA funding. But we do in the bill require that they understand that and spend it that way. Section 3 shows that no premium payments will be made from these funds. The other boilerplate language talks about making sure that they do spend the funds appropriately as to government use, and Section 7 says that it will be a bill that will become legal on the day of passage. After passage it is. If there are no questions, the use of the afternoon roll call for final passage.
Senator Jordan, you're recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Chairman, prior to these special funds, how much money annually has been spent on Camp Shelby?
I have no idea how much we've spent previously on Camp Shelby. It's a large facility that requires a lot of investment.
So we don't have a record of the annual appropriations?
I'm sure there is I know there's a record of the annual appropriation, but I don't have it in front of me.
You don't have it. So this amount will put it in excellent shape?
No, sir, I don't think it'll put it in excellent. Their request was quite a bit more than this, but I think this $10 million will get them well down the road.
It does? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator Jordan. Other questions? Questions? Any further questions? Okay, Senator, we're ready for your motion.
Use of the afternoon roll call.
Senator moves for suggested use of the afternoon roll call for final passage. Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? Anyone no? Seeing none. Senator Barr not voting. Anyone else? Seeing none, the bill passes. We'll go to item number 5. Senator Hobson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask that we go to that item and have the title read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2865, appropriation Mental Health Department of ARPA funds.
I make the usual motion.
Senator makes the usual motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Please proceed, Senator.
Thank you. I ask that we pass Senate Bill 2865 and you recognize Senator Polk to explain it.
Senator Polk, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 2865. Senator Jordan, this is our mental health bill. We are requesting that $86,069,500 be allotted to the Mental Health Services of Mississippi. The purpose of assisting with behavior and mental health needs that were exacerbated by COVID-19 and for operational expenses as allowed under the ARPA Act. We also are asking for $18,550,000 to be designated from mental health to I'm gonna call him czar, the community health organizations, community czars. You know, we have district offices and operations all over Mississippi, and they are using their funds to enhance their ability to make more of our mental health treatment in a community-based setting. And so we're asking for $18,550,000 for the community mental health centers. These centers allow for investments in software, databases, telemedicine capabilities, and other information technology resources that support behavioral and mental health needs as exacerbated by COVID-19. So as you can see, the total amount, if you put it together, is over $100 million to try to ensure that our people who have had a real struggle during COVID-19 get the mental health treatment they need, and also it will allow us to even take care of future needs that we have and get us closer to offering the mental health services that we need to do for our state. No premium pay can be paid from these funds, and we have the usual boilerplate language in there that assures that the monies will be spent correctly or will have to be paid back by the agency. Mr. President, if there are no further questions, I'd ask that we use the afternoon roll call for final passage.
Questions? Senator Horn, what purpose you seek recognition?
Question.
You for a question, Senator Polk.
Yes.
Senator Horn, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Polk. Senator, I see this $18.5 million for community health centers. I would assume that that's only for regional mental health facilities, with about 10 of them around the state. Maybe more than that, but at least 10 around the state.
Yes, sir, that is correct, and there are more than 10.
Yeah.
Sir.
So what about nonprofit and non-state affiliated but certified community-based mental health providers? Will they be able to access any of this funding?
It's my understanding they will not in this plan right here. Remember, we have $133 million set aside that we could spend in something like that if we needed to.
That means we'd have to reconsider how a lot of these funds are being expended.
Yes, the $18 million that I'm asking for right now is for the community health centers only.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Turner. For what purpose you seek recognition, please?
Question?
Will you yield for a question, Senator Polk?
Certainly.
Senator Turner, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Have we received any information from the mental health community, whether it be on the, I'll say first, the state level, that there was an increase in the number of mental health patients that had to be served, I would say, during the past 2 years?
Yes, and I don't have an exact number, yes.
And have we also received any data or statistics regarding an increase in alcohol and drug treatment recipients through the Department of Health?
Yeah, I do not know that.
Will these funds be, or can they be utilized to increase the amount of treatment beds for mental health patients?
Treatment?
In the state system, the state Department of Health system?
Yes, I mean, this is for our mental health department, so they will be, they're the ones in charge of taking care of that, aren't they?
Well, I guess my question is, are they restricted to, let me just make a statement that I'm not quite sure how they're going to use the money. And so have you received any reports in preparation for requesting this appropriation of how they specifically intend to use the dollars if they receive them?
Here's what, excuse me. Here's what I have listed as some of the uses of the funds. I don't know if you know this, I certainly did not. We are about to go under a 988 system that has been mandated by the federal government. 988, if you are like me and not quite sure what that is mental health 911. If you have someone in your family or acquaintance that is having a mental issue, instead of dialing 911, you'll be dialing 988. And 988 will go directly into the mental health system, and they will be able to more effectively and quickly take care of your loved one or friend. So we're covering the 988 implementation for 4 years at $2.5 million. We also have going to start mobile crisis teams at $100,000 per year to aid teams due to increased reporting because of the 988 inflammation, and that's going to be $6,300,000. The crisis services SMI for 60 more beds. We feel like we need more places to put people and they not be in jail, and this will help that.
Can you repeat that, what you just mentioned about the 60 additional beds?
We're adding 60 crisis service SMI beds in the state, across the state, for $7.3 million for 4 years, for a total of $29,250,000. We feel like these are absolutely necessary to ensure that we're able to take care of our patients better. Mental health first aid for public safety training. We need to have our people trained to where they know what to look for and what to do. That's going to be a $42,000 amount. Law enforcement training, $1,350,000. Peer support services, $6,750,000. Court, law enforcement, hospital liaison pilot programs for 18 liaisons, $4,860,000. Intensive community support specialists will have 7 at CMHC centers that don't have one, and we're adding $1,417,500. Adolescent offender program, adding 1 program in each of the 13 CMHC districts for a total of $11,700,000. And intellectual and developmental disability crisis service and support teams, 1 6-bed and 1 4-bed crisis division homes for adults. That will be $14,400,000, and that should be the total of the $86,069,500.
Where do you anticipate these additional beds for the SMI services to be placed?
I did not get a drill down on exactly where the beds will be, but they will be spread across the state.
Will we be able to get a list?
Absolutely.
If they're listening, if they could pass it on, we'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator.
Questions? Any other questions? Seeing none, we're on your motion, Senator.
Use of the afternoon roll call, final passage.
Chairman's requested use of the afternoon roll call for final passage. Anyone object to the procedure? Anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Present, Senator Turner. Present. Who's the other one? Senator Horn, present. Pardon me? I got Senator Turner and Senator Ford. Anyone else? Anyone else? Bill passes. Thank you, Senator Polk. We'll go to the calendar. Next up is rules, and Senator Kirby, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to suspend the rules and take up a House Concurrent Resolution 21. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the state of the state by the governors tomorrow. So I ask that we suspend the rules to take it up first.
Motion is to suspend the rules. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Senator, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Call up House Concurrent Resolution 21. That's the title be read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
House Concurrent Resolution Number 21, concurrent resolution providing for a joint session of the Mississippi Legislature to hear the State of the State address of Governor Tate Reeves.
Make the usual motion, Mr. President.
Senator makes the usual motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Please proceed, Senator Kirby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, Senate, you can see that's a 1 paragraph just saying that we'll have State of the State tomorrow afternoon, I believe it is at 4 o'clock. No questions asked for use. Morning roll call, final passage.
Any questions?
Afternoon roll call, final passage.
Any questions? Seeing none, the chairman suggests use of the afternoon roll call. Anyone object to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? No. Present? Seeing none, bill passes. Senator, you're recognized, number 7 on the calendar.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to call up item number 6. Senate Bill number 2001, that's the title be read.
Sorry, it is number 6. Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Senate Bill Number 2001, Mississippi Congressional Districts reapportion.
Make the usual motion, Mr. President.
Senator makes the usual motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the governor signed House Bill 384 today. There's no need to have this bill. And so I ask that we send a bill back to committee from whence it came.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator. We're back on your rules.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 7, call up Senate Concurrent Resolution number 527, as title be read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Senate concurrent resolution number 527, commending University of Mississippi women's golf team and Coach Corey Hinks for winning their first national title in school history.
You make your usual motion,
Senator
Mr.
makes the
President.
usual motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Please proceed, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, Senate, as you can see, this is a Senate concurrent resolution. The University of Mississippi women's golf team that won the national championship, and I think they're maybe coming this week. And since it's a concurrent resolution, we needed to take it up today and pass it. If there are no questions, I ask for use of afternoon roll call, final passage.
Questions? Seeing no questions, the chairman has requested use of the afternoon roll call for final passage. Is anyone objects to the procedure? Wish to be recorded as voting no? No. Present? Seeing none, bill passes. Senator Kirby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to pass and retain item number 6, Senate Resolution number 6.
It's item number 8. Pass and retain. Okay, next, item number 9. Senator Bryan, pass. Pass and retain. Item number 10. Senator Barnett, pass and retain. Pass and retain. Item number 11. Senator Barnett, pass and retain. Retain is placed on the calendar. Quick. Okay, any items between 12 and 21 would like to be taken up on the general calendar? 12 and 21. Seeing none, they retain their place on the calendar. We'll go to announcements. Senator Horn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Introduction of a resolution out of order.
Please proceed. Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
A resolution celebrating the life and commending the civic service of Marvin Hogan of Jackson, Mississippi, who was a respected teacher, coach, founder of Friends of Children of Mississippi, and leader of micro-enterprise development projects, and extending the condolences of the Senate to his surviving family.
All right, let's go to Senator Chasanoff. You're recognized for announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Senate Tourism Committee will meet tomorrow morning, 9:30 in room 210. We have a few bills we need to take care of because they're doubly referred.
Thank you, Senator Chasanoff. Senator Michelle, you're recognized for announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Senate Insurance Committee will meet Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. in room 216.
9 a.m., Mr. Clerk. Senator Parker, you're recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to request unanimous consent to be added as a co-author on items 2, 3, 4, and 5 on today's calendar, Senate Bills 2862, 2863, 2864, and 2865.
Thank you, Senator. Seeing no objection granted. Senator McMahon, you're recognized for announcement.
Mr. President, I'd like to be added as a co-author to item 4 today on today's calendar, and also have an adjourn in memory.
Please proceed with adjourn in memory.
On behalf of Senator Bryan, Senator Suber, and myself, Lee County lost one of our sheriff's officers in the line of duty serving at an elementary school. He was hit by a car. I asked the Senate today, when we adjourn, to adjourn in memory of Johnny Patterson.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Branning, you're recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I'd like to request unanimous consent to be co-author on items 2 through 5 on today's calendar.
2 through 5, Mr. Clerk.
Then I'd like to announce a meeting of the Highways and Transportation Committee this Wednesday at 2 p.m. in room 409. That's Wednesday, 2 p.m., room 409.
So you have no objection granted. You got that. Senator Butler Kelvin, you're recognized for an announcement.
adjourn in memory, Mr. President.
Please proceed, sir.
With the Senate adjourned today, I'd like to adjourn in memory of Mr. Sam Mims from Macomb, a longtime city administrator down there, and also his son, Representative Sam Mims, serves in the House. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Butler. Senator McCon, you're recognized for announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Judiciary A subcommittee that was scheduled for 4 p.m. tomorrow will be rescheduled. We will still have our meeting at 9:30 in the morning to take up a few bills. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator McCon. Senator Robert Jackson, you're recognized for announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Introduction of a measure out of order.
Please proceed. Senator Wiggins, you're recognized for announcement.
Adjourn in memory.
Please proceed.
Would ask that the Senate adjourn in memory of Ann Pickett, longtime resident of Pascagoula. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Jordan, you're recognized for announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. United consent, I would like to be added as co-author of number 3 and number 5 on today's calendar.
Seeing no objection is granted. Senator England,
I have an announcement, Mr. President.
you're recognized for announcement.
Thank you. Judd A. Subcommittee on Criminal Law and Procedure will be meeting immediately after adjournment. Along with myself, that's Senator Simmons, Senator Parker, Senator Barrett, and Senator Barnett. It'll be a brief meeting in room 407 after adjournment.
Thank you, Senator Anderson. Senator McClendon, you're recognized for announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Unanimous consent to be added on numbers 2 through 5. As well as I've got adjourn in memory, please.
Seeing no objection, 2, 3, and 5 is granted. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. When the Senate adjourns today, I would like us to adjourn in memory of Chapley Jones, who was grandson of retired Fire Chief in Hernando, Chief Hubert Jones. Also, Miss Faye Edwards, who was the mother of Miss Kathy Chatham, who is a spouse to Circuit Judge Gerald Chatham in Hernando, as well as adjourn in memory of a good friend of mine, Mr. Michael Smitty Smith, who passed away. Thank you, sir.
Senator. Senator Hill, you're recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Appropriations Subcommittee number 9 hearing that was rescheduled will be Wednesday at 1 o'clock in room 216. That's Mental Health and Department of Health. That's Senators Frazier, Michelle, and Moran. Wednesday, 1 o'clock in 216.
Wednesday, 1 o'clock, 216, Mr. Clerk. Senator Sparks, you're recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Corrections will not meet tomorrow, but will meet in 409 on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Will not meet tomorrow.
409 Wednesday, Mr. Clerk. Senator Butler, Albert Butler, you're recognized for announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to introduce the resolution out of order.
Please proceed. Senator Chasnow, you're recognized for an announcement.
Adjournment in memory.
Please proceed.
When the Senate adjourns today, I would request that we adjourn in the memory of Captain Jimmy Holly, who was a retired captain with the Mississippi Highway Patrol, Greenwood District.
Thank you. Senator Younger, you're recognized for announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please join the Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation at their legislative reception tonight at 6 p.m. at the Mississippi Farmers Market. Farm Bureau is celebrating their 100th anniversary year of serving the farmers and ranchers in the state of Mississippi. President Mike McCormick and Farm Bureau members from across the state will be there. I also have an adjourn in memory for Phyllis Doolittle from Columbus and Dr. Kirk Reed from Madison. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Moran, you're recognized for announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. With unanimous consent, I'd like to be added as co-author for items 2 through 5 today, please.
Seeing no objection to consent granted, Senator Turner.
Announcement.
Please proceed.
Appropriations Subcommittee number 14 will be meeting tomorrow morning at 10:30 in room 210. Senators are Senators Chisholm, Delano, and Norwood. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other announcements? One second. Okay. Any other announcements? Would you read the title to the resolutions, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, sir. An act making an appropriation to the State Department of Health for the purpose of providing funds to the Magnet Community Health Disparity Program to be used to address the disproportionate impact on the minority and disadvantaged communities of coronavirus infections and death from COVID-19 for the fiscal year 2023. A resolution celebrating the life and commending the civic and business leadership of Carol V. Hood of Hazelhurst, Mississippi, and extending the condolences of the legislature to his surviving family.
Would you read the meetings, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, sir. Judiciary Division A will have a subcommittee meeting upon recess in room 216. Rules will meet today, room 307, 5 minutes after recess. On Tuesday morning, insurance will meet room 216 at 9 a.m. Judiciary Division A will meet in room 409, 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday. Tourism will meet 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday in room 210. Appropriations Subcommittee number 14 will meet in room 210 at 10:30 a.m. on Tuesday. Finance will meet 10:30 a.m. room 216 on Tuesday. Appropriations will meet room 216 at 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Judiciary Division A will meet room 409 at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Appropriations Subcommittee number 15 will meet in room 210 at 2:15 p.m. on Tuesday. And Public Health and Welfare will meet in room 216 at 3 p.m. on Tuesday. Judiciary Division A meeting scheduled for 4 p.m. on Tuesday has been canceled. Corrections also has been canceled for Tuesday.
Thank you, Senator. One moment. Let Senator Polk get back. Any other announcements? Any other announcements? Senator Barnett, for what purpose?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to hold Senate Bill 2444 in a motion to reconsider.
To the chairman, Senator Polk, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate stand in recess until 6 p.m. today, at which time the journal will reflect that we are adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Stand in recess 6 p.m. today, at which time the journal will reflect we start at 10 a.m. tomorrow. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Stand in recess.